All right, so let's get to Nick Bailey's response. So, in my opinion, this is the Remax exec. Nick Bailey used to be with Century 21, was responsible for a lot of the rebranding. He then went to Remax to be back home closer to his family. And when he did, we had him on our show. So, you guys can go look up that. It was a really good show. Nick is an awesome guy, gave us some good time and some great opinions on some of the articles that we covered. So, Inman interviews Nick Bailey, and he has a message for agents concerned about the move. And his message is don't panic. His quote, "Don't panic," Bailey said Monday morning during the virtual town hall session hosted on the company's Facebook page. This is a technology company acquiring a technology company to create access to properties. I'm sure they will innovate, iterate, and evolve it. Bailey previously worked for, this is interesting. Bailey previously worked for a company, Market Leader, that was acquired by Zillow in 2014 and subsequently spent 3 years serving as Zillow's vice president of broker relations. So he offers perspectives from both sides. Zillow's North Star, Bailey explained, is the consumer, and it often puts real estate brokerage space in conflict with Zillow, specifically when it comes to things like Zestimate and lead generation. Here's another quote from him. "I think there's space in this industry for all kinds of companies, competitors, and platforms. There's space for iBuyers. There's going to be a certain seller that, because of desire, ease, timing, etc., may want to use that type of platform." He dispels some myths, and one of the myths is that Zillow will shut current agents out of the platform. He said, "I believe acquiring the technology company will provide a valuable service to consumers and agents, and they will want as many parties to utilize the product as possible." There's another concern they heard from agents that they'll be using a platform owned by a competitor. Zillow announced it'll become a licensed broker, which we've talked about on the show before. And he said, quote, "So what?" He said, "Anyone could get into our business. Getting a real estate license is easy. The barriers of entry are low. The barriers of entry of getting a real estate license are low, but the barriers of success to be a great real estate agent are high." And then he goes on to the quote we've talked about before, that 87% of agents fail. He also said that real estate agents collectively spend $13 billion in marketing annually. Zillow's agent advertising business, Premier Agent, generated more than $400 million in revenue for the company in the fourth quarter of 2020. Here's this final quote, "They have a vested interest in real estate agents being successful because they spend money with their company." All right. What's the hot take? So Keller Williams, it's a fight. Brad Inman, it's the broker's fault. Nick Bailey, it's not really a fight.
Yeah, don't worry.
Don't panic.
Everything's going to be fine.
Where are you guys in the comments and also in Clubhouse? Where are y'all on this spectrum? Is this a fight? Is this not a fight? Is it the faults of our MLS, which I would tend to agree with that. What do you think, Dan? Is it a fight or not a fight?
Oh, those are my only two options.
Yeah, is it a fight or not?
Yeah, it's a fight. And it's been a fight with Zillow since day one. So them acquiring showing time is not a new thing, is in regards to it being a fight. They've always been pushing to, take a chunk of our data and take a chunk of our business. Now, obviously, they started a brokerage, and now there's that. So I think it's always been a fight with Zillow, but I kind of agree with Nick Bailey, which is they're a tech company that bought a tech company. And, we have a little group called Be More Contributors. If you want to go join that, that's awesome, with an exclamation point, Be More Contributors. And the kind of, and Chris, my broker, pointed out, is that Zillow way overpaid. If you look at just on the surface, because I think they charge like $5 a listing to pay for showing time, to pay for the full version of showing time for each listing. So if they have 1.5, 1.6 million listings on there, that's obviously not worth it paying 500 million, but they have a lot of, I forget who said it, but they have a lot of real time data. Zillow can literally tune in right now and see how many showings are being scheduled through showing time. So they just got more data. They paid for more data. And I think that will make them, I don't know if it changes anything. I mean, if it's still going to be offered to us, then we can still use it. But like Bright, I know Melissa, who is a contributor as well, and number one fan of the show, she just sent over that their Bright MLS is already reacting and going to provide other options. I know that our team is working on other options for showings. But at the end of the day, I think, Zillow is just trying to stay relevant. They're trying to scare us. I think they're trying to say, look at what we can do. We spent a bunch of money. Here's what we can do. But they already had kind of not a showing service, but they already had contact agent to see this house. And it was, whether it was the actual listing agent or not, but they already had that there. Now they're just buying more data. I just think it's another way, that they want to stay relevant. They want to stay ahead of the game, and they want to further put their foot on our necks and say, look, you can't keep up with us. You're never going to start your own national multiple listing service. They want to knock us down even farther. So all that to say, yes, it's a fight. And, the people or the associations that we pay are not reacting properly at all.
Curtis Lee says Bright MLS response to Z buying showing time. Bright is in final discussions with CenturyLock to provide their new Century Key showing service. Subscribers to both Supra and CenturyLock will be able to use Century Key. We're also vetting several other solutions and may continue to expand showing service offerings over time. So yeah, I've heard that. I've also gotten a lot of advertisements lately on Facebook for alternate showing services, which I think is timely and entertaining. Also,
yeah, they're listening, not just reading what you type.
Michelle West, the market leader, is owned by Zillow. Also, yes, it is.
Are they? Wait. Are they?
Yeah, they were acquired by Zillow in 2014.
Oh, okay,
isn't that what KW uses?
Well, because I looked it up and it says Constellation Web Solutions owns market leader. So
maybe is it? So maybe they sold again. Adam Johnson said Zillow buys EXP. So yeah, I think I made a bunch of people mad the other day when I commented on a friend's post. I said, will Zillow buy KW or EXP first? And man, those were fighting words for some of those agents. It was pretty funny. Michelle West says it's a fight. So she thinks it's a fight. Curtis said only 15% of real estate transactions close from lead gen source like Zillow. That means 85% came from your sphere, open houses, OMG, personal referrals, good old hard work. If you aren't lazy, you'll be just fine. The sky's not falling. All right. So Curtis Lee is if I paraphrase for you, he's saying there's not a fight.
Yeah.
All right. So here's my take. It's not a fight. Plenty of room in the industry for a big box store like Walmart to come in and sell properties. Plenty of room in the industry for independent real estate agents to have massive levels of success by providing an extreme consumer experience that is unlike the big box store can possibly provide at the price that big box store is charging. So I think there's room enough for both. I think it'll be a good cleansing in the industry because, like Nick Bailey said, and like Ramsey Stewart said, one of the commenters on the show, the barrier of entry to real estate is very low, 87% failure in the industry. And I think you're going to have either more people fail or more people go to work for the big box stores like Zillow.
But we know what the big box stores did to Main Street America and did to the mom and pop shops, right? Now, I know this is a different analogy because real estate is very personal, and it's it's all based on how you create your consumer's experience.
Wait, let me interrupt you. Let me interrupt you 1 second. Michelle West, she says, got to get back to family reunions. She's a KW agent. Talk to you soon. Sorry, Ray agreed to disagree. I'd be interested to hear, Michelle, if Zillow is the sponsor this year at Family Reunion, because I know they normally are.
Yeah, and if Gary gets up on stage, because he's obviously being critical of it. So if he gets up on stage and talks about it, so
he was critical of it when I was there, and yet invited Zillow to be on stage and talk about their. It's the weirdest thing, and that's where I met Greg Schwartz, by the way. All right, yeah. So anyway, what were you saying, Dan? My opinion is, it's not a fight. There's room enough for everyone in the industry. Zillow predicts to be able to close about 10% of transactions in 5 to 10 years. That's a long way away, and it's only 10% of the transactions. That leaves 90% of the transactions closed in other ways.
Other ways, but those other ways are still Boomtown and other lead gen services, right? So,
I think there's only 5% more that come from those other online lead gen sources currently.
So that would be going to the 15% that Gary said. Sorry, Curtis.
Yeah.
But think about the what has our reaction been? Our meaning NAR. What has our reaction been to creating that national website where consumer facing website?
I totally agree with your take that the reason why Zillow has become a giant and the reason why the consumers have that as an option,
which was who? That was Brad Inman. That was on it. Was that Brad's take himself?
Yeah, that was Brad. It was his own article. But
Yeah.
I totally agree with him in that and placing the blame squarely on now, I think some of the reasons a couple of the reasons I kinda disagreed with, but, overall, I agreed with Brad's article as a whole and his take that, yes, this is the fault of real estate agents themselves
Yeah.
as a group not being able to provide the consumer with what they're actually looking for as far as data goes. I totally agree with
Yeah.
that.
So like
Uh,
I said, like I know it's a different experience than walking into, I need a new shirt and I'm going to walk into a local, just my local store and get that, this is a dude who lives, I live in Rancho Cucamonga, by the way. So it's a dude who lives in Rancho Cucamonga from Rancho Cucamonga and he started a business here. You're
right.
going to get a different experience than walking into one of the big box stores. So I think you can equate that to, uh, real estate. You're
Right,
going to get a different experience working with me.
right.
Obviously, visually, you're going to get a different experience working with me, but how I handle my clients and how I negotiate and work for my clients is 1,000% different than most agents out there. So I can guarantee that because I know who I am as an agent. But to just kind of, and I'm not discounting what you're saying, Ray, at all. I'm just saying I'm kind of going after NAR a little bit, but to discount it, no, it's fine. They bought it. It's just a showing time. We'll provide another showing opportunity or showing service for our agents. They can't dismiss it. And I've said this about a million different things, which is why we need to start our own National Association of Bearded Realtors, not NABR, uh, that includes everyone. But their reaction to these things is extremely slow, and
Very inadequate.
so
Given the
that's where I would worry about what you're saying is it's not a fight, that there's plenty of room for everyone. I would agree, but
I
just
think
what we saw.
I think
Go.
until NAR does something, we'll all be using Zillow for stuff like that. I'll
Yeah,
continue to use it because I'm basically buying Zillow's database for
I
cheap.
get better stats on my listings from Zillow.
Yeah, their CRM is actually easy to use and kinda legit,
Yeah. So
unfortunately.
what I use is our photographer sets up a website for each property, and then obviously all the showings and the YouTube video and all that stuff. And then Zillow, it goes out to Zillow. I use those two things, not my own MLS. I don't have the access to those stats. Who's seeing my listings? I don't have that through my own MLS.
Yeah, and you can't retarget them. Alright, so I'd love
How
to bring you
crazy
some
is
people in Clubhouse. If you have an opinion, raise your hand. I'd love to know before we get to the next story because we got, like, 3 more stories to cover in, like, 15 minutes to do it. So,
that?
if you are in Clubhouse and you wanna make a comment specifically on the Zillow topic,
Message me
raise
on
your hand
Twitter.
now. We've hit the servers pretty hard. I've got a couple of warnings while I was on Clubhouse. So, if you've tried to raise your hand and you have not been brought up, then you could try again. I'm PTRing, I'm pulling to refresh. So I don't think we have any comment. Hey Chris, thanks for joining us. Ashley's in there, so thank you, and Christian. All right, so no more comments. I think we're good. Then we'll end with a comment from Adam Johnson. Zillow lies.
So I
Well,
think he's saying it's a fight.
so I think Adam thinks it's a fight. All right. Well, Dan, why don't you get into the next article? Like I said, we have about 10 to 15 more minutes and we have 3 or 4 more articles to get through. That kind of hit the main meat of the news story, and we're going to chop up each one of those segments into its own segment. And we'll release those in the Be More Chop. So if you're just joining us on Clubhouse or you're just joining the live stream and you missed that discussion, look for the replay. Be sure to subscribe, hit that bell so that you are alerted to when we are going live next time. If you're on Clubhouse, just click on my face and then click follow and hit that bell there too.